just leave?
Morgan's gone.
That hadn't happened once the entire time we were checking, and then all of a sudden, squeal. So
that comes
we
in
are
nice.
live right now with the Tales from the Funbox podcast, number 777.
I think it's 11.
11 maybe? Yeah. I don't know. I never know.
We never
Really.
know.
I don't think we need to, honestly.
Nope.
I'm Dusty,
Rawless.
and we've got guests today. Russ is over by the fucking soundboard right now. I don't even know if he has a mic. We're in the jam space, our super secret jam space, and because we got a few extra folks here today, we have got a couple of the fellas from, if I'm saying this correctly, is it Truth and Agony? Round of applause.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, fellas.
And we had all of our best conversations before the podcast. And I don't know if we're going to find.
Yeah, and they were shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm Lucien Broste. I'm the founder, singer, and guitarist in Truth and Agony.
Right
I'm
on.
Morgan. I'm the bassist and backup vocals.
And there are two more members in the band.
Yeah.
2 more members in the band. They're not with us today.
Yeah. Harley, our drummer, and Blaine,
Shout out to
our
the boy.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, and Blaine, our other guitarist and vocalist.
Right.
And just a quick shout out, you are now out of the band.
Yeah. We've shouted you
That's
out of the
what-
band.
This is how
Yeah.
this is how they decided to.
It's actually how the phrase shout out
Yeah,
started.
You go tell them
Get
that.
the fuck out of here! This is a real shout out. You go. That was that's where that phrase first originated. The shout out.
One's in Kalonze right
Hey,
now.
thanks for
Those
having
are
us
the
here,
kids.
boys. I remember when you guys first started bringing it up. Us coming here, we were kind of like, man, what is this about? And then we're just like, yeah, we're doing it.
Oh,
so
I
we
already
came
knew.
down.
I was
Yeah.
just like, these guys will love it.
Oh, it's in depth. It's intellectual. There's we're changing lives and changing minds out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, actually, we're just smoking joints mostly and not playing video games.
That
this time.
too, that too,
Although there
yeah.
is was video games on in the
I
background.
was playing Red Dead too. That was fun.
Well, kind of like things like this, like intellectual conversations between bands and stuff, are like they promote creativity, right? And if not, then at least you get a chance to smoke some good weed. And shit with your
If
friends,
not,
right?
maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
I played Red Dead.
Maybe this isn't the thing for us. Yeah.
I had to go to jail, but to become a crook, right?
Yeah. Come by it honestly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, so before we got started here, you guys were talking about recording.
Yeah.
Why don't we start there?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
in February.
Well, as you guys know, we've been playing shows all spring and summer. We did a bunch of shows with you
So
guys,
many.
and yeah, we did about 23 or 24, Morgan, something like that. Like I think
With
yeah,
the
about
acoustic
23.
sets, there was 29
Damn.
with all the acoustic sets.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's
There
about
was only
29
the
with all the
duos and
acoustic
singles.
sets, and that's in an 8-month period, right?
That's a
And
lot
then-
of playing.
Yeah, and then we obviously kept writing as we're practicing. We practice every week, and we just keep writing, and
Took a brief break, but
yeah, we took a little bit of a
Work-related.
break. But so now we booked some studio time. We're gonna head down to Soundcastle Studios in Viscount, Saskatchewan, with Christian Douglas is gonna engineer it, and Christian is just. Yeah, shout out to Christian, man. He's the best at what he does. And
thanks for hosting.
Cool story, actually. When I was a younger lad, I was in foster care here in Saskatoon, and I had met Chris through like one of these summer camps. He was about 14, I think I was 15.
Never met the guy yet.
No, yeah.
Soon.
I
We'll
gotta
make a
bring.
stop up
Yeah,
there
I gotta
for a
bring the
day.
guys in the band out. We'll go check out the studio and
Yeah.
stuff. Chris bought this church, but anyway, getting back to when we were kids, I met Chris when we were kids, and we kind of like were learning guitar at the same time. We both taught each other a lot of things, and we lost touch for 20 years.
20 years.
No, over 20 years, yeah, man. And then we got back in touch, and he owns a studio, and I'm playing in a band, right? So it's just kind of meant to be. So it's pretty cool that we get a
Fucking
chance.
stars aligned.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said, man. And I was super stoked for the chance to work with him. And I think he just did Alien to the Ignorance last album. I think he's the one who
No way,
recorded that.
really?
Familiar with those?
Man, I
cats.
remember playing
They
with
look
them
cool.
when they were just starting out too. Man, that was awesome. Like, we only played one show with them, and I've been trying to like book them, but they're always
They're on
booked.
like
They're
they're
always
on like
booked,
tour
man.
right now. They got shows
At least
and-
8 months in advance, like always.
Fuck,
They're
must be
getting
nice.
big. Like they got backed by Beefy Records, but yeah.
Yeah, we're planning our next show next year.
Hey, we'll get to it when we get
We'll
to
get
it.
to it.
All right, you get off my ass.
Yeah, well, we went hard this summer, and like
Oh,
we
did we
still
ever?
want to play a few more shows here before Christmas, but it's not our focus right now. Like we gotta get our head in the game for the album, and like 'cause
Oh, we're
it's
just about to go to 3 hours for our
3-hour practices, yeah,
from
twice a
2.
week, and like we're taking it seriously. You know, we all work day jobs and stuff too. Like we got old ladies and kids and jobs and rent and bills and just like everybody else, but. We take
work
it
hard,
seriously
play
enough
hard.
where we make time for it, right? And
Yeah.
and that's the only way it's going to work. So it's pretty cool that it's happening as it's happening. This is our first full length release. Like we released an EP and a single But now this is going to be our first full length, so I think there's going to be 13 tracks on it.
That full acoustic release too was like just kind of off the cuff. I think it was for an article you needed to put something out.
Yeah.
That's something we really got to get around to fucking doing. Recording some music. Got like 5 songs.
Well, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Man,
as
I've been
long as
telling
it's
your
like a
guys'
tolerable
bassist,
audio
Ernie, I've been telling him
quality.
for months that you guys need to record something. Because when we put out our EP and our single, in order to put it out, we had to literally establish a record imprint. So we literally own a record label, and we can put your music out on
Oh,
it if we
fucking
want.
A.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, we tried doing it at my place with a shitty little interface and recording in the closet.
Well,
You
hey,
see
you
mine,
listen.
that one right
You
there?
can make
Use
cool.
that for
You
an
can make
FK.
cool home recordings, but when it comes to that, you still have to know what you're doing. Like you still have to know a bit about it.
Oh, that's
right?
the problem we always have.
I'd
Well, we always
rather.
paid somebody else to do it before.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
The
just
times we
learn,
did
I
record
did,
was always
like,
somebody else in fucking charge of it. But yeah, like I mean, being super tight when you go in is definitely gonna save you guys a bunch of money.
Absolutely. And yeah, and, like no comment on what it's costing us, but let's say that Chris gave me what we call a bro deal, and I couldn't say no, so I took him up on it. So we start recording. Our first day of recording is February 1st. And yeah, and we're just gonna go in there. Like we have our bus, right? So we're gonna truck all our gear over there and
Squat in a church for a week.
yeah,
That's what you got to do.
we have the
fucking
whole
stayed
studio.
overnight. at that.
We'll probably have the whole studio off and on for a month, right? So like we
All
can
right,
go
huh?
in there and do it because we still got to work, right? Like I can't take the time off, right? Like so I have to keep working.
Yeah.
But we plan on playing some shows and stuff, and then once we go into the studio, we'll be so tight by then. Like we'll start nailing it every first or second take, and it saves time, saves money, and it's good for everybody. And then we start planning a tour.
Fucking A.
You guys want to come?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to New Zealand, right? Wasn't that part of it? That's all. We've already discussed this on a previous podcast.
Yeah.
I know it come up loosely, and I was like, "Well, we're
tell me
grown
about
ass
that.
man. We can figure out how to get halfway around the world."
Well, check this out.
Just to stop in New Zealand, though?
Well,
Just
of
a
course
quick
not.
stop, yeah.
Of course not.
When-
I mean, like we're fucking. We had a pretty lengthy tour put together for all of us at that point. There were stops in Sydney, I think, and Melbourne in our heads.
Oh, yeah,
we
world
were
tour,
rewarding
baby.
ourselves
Oh,
with a little
that'd be
stayover in Hawaii on the way back, right?
of
Because
course.
the shows in Japan went so well. That was the reason, right?
Mhm,
We
that's
were
what
like, man,
they're
these
talking about.
shows in Japan they crushed
Okay,
so
they're good.
hard that we're just going to take some time off.
we
in
got to
Hawaii on
stop
the
at the
way back.
casino. There's no way we can go back in our country at this much money. you know?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny when we were talking
gotta
about
blow
that.
some
We were like,
dough. Let's
we'd have
go.
to do visas and whatnot. And I said, yeah, as soon as you're like making any money or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, we'll just put musician on it, and they'll be like, oh, so you guys aren't even going to make enough to OD while you're here, right? Like, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
We're
We're
gonna be
taking
broke
money
the
out
whole
of our
time.
country, right?
Hey, this is
They should be paying us to go.
this
Taking
is
turns
a
on the
pot smoking
corner.
podcast, right?
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about
Well,
that.
God, I hope so. I've been doing it wrong this whole time otherwise.
First I heard it. First I heard it.
77 episodes in, and all of a sudden somebody's like, wait, we don't
It's
smoke
like,
dope on here?
fuck, well, how far back do we
There's
lose count?
there's actually this like online radio station called Galaxy 107 FM. It's based out of New Zealand, and like they've interviewed me a few times by myself. And remember some of those things I was doing in New Zealand there. And they actually invited us out next year. They're
Like,
putting
you
on a
briefly
festival, and
touched
they wanted
on
us.
it.
They wanted
Yeah.
us to come play it, right?
Fucking A.
But the only problem is I've got a fucking criminal record, right? I did some pen time and shit in my younger years. Well, not that much younger. Five years ago, 6
I had
years
some
ago.
pot charges, too, so.
Yeah,
but I'm eligible for a pardon.
I went into the
Should
pen
be good.
in like early 2015, and I got out in late 2018. And I never got in trouble again, so it's been more than 5 years
Attaboy.
since I got out. Yeah, well, I started playing
Congratulations.
music. I started playing music.
That's no small feat.
Well, I got clean. That's where it started, right?
Yeah.
Like once, like I was a real bad junkie for a long time with the opiates and pain pills and heroin and fentanyl and OxyContin. You know, I was a junkie for 20 years and I never once shot up. Never.
Fuck good on you for that, even.
I was too scared, man. I always knew as soon as
Well, we
I
might not
learned
be
how
having
to-
that conversation right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, man,
this
that's
would
a
be like a
risky
fucking
deal.
post-mortem kind of fucking
Yeah, you'd be
podcast.
like, you'd be like,
Yeah,
remember
holy
that guy?
shit.
Remember
Yeah.
what we could have done, you know?
Yeah, he was pretty cool for a minute there.
Yeah.
He wasn't here anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like in my life, I've probably lost about 70 or 80 people to the opioid crisis, and it's not getting better. Yeah, it's so sad, man. And the way I can honor them is by playing music, because that's what they would have wanted me to do. They would have been like, yeah, man, keep playing music. It's something that made me happy, right?
That's a trip, man. I mean, if that's even part of your motivation, you'll never stop doing it, right? Because you always got that. It's just funny you mentioned that, because like we've been doing bands and shit for a while, but
Yeah.
I just started doing stand up in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I heard. Man.
And
How's that going?
it's well slowly, because I have a real hard time compartmentalizing stuff.
Yep.
So I'll be like, well, I'm busy all week with work. You know, I can't make the time to go and do the open mics or whatever, which is dumb. But I've still been doing shows lately and writing more, which is a big part of it. But part of it was my brother killed himself a couple years ago,
Oh,
and
shit,
it
I'm
was
sorry,
like
man.
at his kind of get together or whatever for it. everybody that was there was like, dude, you really should fucking do this. This is something Matthew been saying it for years. You should do stand up. You should do stand up.
My brother's name is Matthew too.
Oh, that's a trip. Yeah, hey,
You got lots of
little
jokes,
brother's
though.
Matthew.
My brother just had a baby with his wife like a couple months ago. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Man, that's
Yeah.
awesome for him.
Congrats.
Good guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, it's just kind of a similar motivation for that. Every time that I'm like, I don't know if I should. I'm like, my dead brother thinks I should, and everybody else around thinks I should.
Did
And
your
it-
brother
and it's-
encourage you to do it?
Yeah, man,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
then-
That was
then-
something,
then
and he
do it.
was
That's all you
upset
need.
with me because it was even something that I kind of talked about loosely, and it was always in my head, And then he's like, "Well, as soon as you do, you got to let me know. I really want to come." And then he never had a chance, and I kind of think of that lots. Like, and if I can. Because I feel like I've been in lots of these situations where if you're like, well, this is the fucking end, you know what I mean? I've been there a lot of times in different reasons, so I can really empathize with a lot of people who are there or been there. You know what I mean? I don't, no judgment or fuck all. Just hey, fuck, dude. I know those socks. I know how wet your feet are right now. I've been there. So like, if I can have some comedy that like appeals to people that are like that too. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to have some big overarching fucking message or goal or what. I really just want to make motherfuckers laugh.
Yeah,
like,
something
I
you
think
wanna do.
I
Just
think
a
this,
healthy
like,
outlet for
I
that.
think
It doesn't hurt
modern-
no one. Yeah.
I think Norm Macdonald was the funniest fucking guy in the world.
Yeah.
And he had a quit
who's
telling
that?
story and passes.
I don't even know who that is.
No, you get a
was the sound
chance.
of me
Dude,
hitting
you gotta,
Morgan.
yeah, the movie Dirty Work is it's masterpiece.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But
That
anyways,
guy running like a TV and
Canadian,
a fucking
too.
fucking
running
nice, man.
Google.
Very
and on the
Canadian,
back.
actually.
He was
Oh,
on
really?
this hour's
Holy
22
shit.
minutes, like way back in the day too, wasn't he?
Really? No, I didn't know anything about that. He was on Saturday Night
Yeah, he was
Live
on
for years.
Saturday Night
Yeah,
Live.
no, I'm
Yeah.
talking before then, like before then.
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
But anyways, he had this quote one time where it was like, he's like, yeah, a lot of people are saying how comedians are modern day philosophers. It's really insulting to modern day philosophers. Because he's like, we're comedians. Like, I get if you got a bigger message or whatever, that's cool. But like, really, did everybody laugh? Like, that's what it is to me. Because I'm like, yeah, you had to go. That was a really thoughtful set. Yeah, okay. But did everybody laugh? Like,
Well,
that's
yeah,
I don't give a fuck
That's
about.
your goal, but like you
Yeah.
do end up taking
You do
that-
what you
that
came there
kind
to
of
do,
aspect.
like
That's
the
what
whole
it is.
perspective on
Because
things.
that's
You
me.
are
It's like
giving a
if you want to do a
perspective, though.
spoken word thing and have a message and you want to change people's minds, that's different than stand up comedy.
That is, yeah.
And stand up comedy, you're,
And
you're
it's
supposed
usually
to stand up there.
advertised as such too, right?
Yeah, man, and you're supposed to stand there and make people laugh. And I think a lot of people do that with comedy. And like big guys will do it and have this whole big overarching theme to their fucking set, and they're trying to tell you a story and be like, "But here, this is the heartfelt thing at the end that you're going to take home and go, oh man, that really connects with me. That's amazing." But that's not comedy. No. That didn't make me laugh. You know what I mean? And that's Norm Macdonald's thing. He's always been like,
serious talk.
that,
Yeah.
dude, exactly. And it's
supposed
great and it's magnificent and it's fantastic and it has a place and it should exist.
not comedy.
That's not what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
that's
I mean,
not your
if you get
style,
that,
yeah.
cool. But I just really want you to leave going, fuck, that guy was funny. Or fuck, I laughed a lot. I can't believe you can make something about anal prolapses like be that funny. You know, like I get it, they're kind of funny, but like, how funny can you make it? So
Yeah.
let's make this podcast about me again when we got a fucking band real quick. My classic derail.
Hey man, it's our podcast. We do what we want.
Yeah, not really too much rules around these parts.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you guys are working actively on getting some recording done. You got studio time booked. That's very exciting.
Yep.
Shows are on the horizon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's this because I know you've been in a couple projects recently. Is this kind of your guys' main project right now, where you got other
That's
shit
the
on the
main
go?
thing
Or?
right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
play in other projects. I don't
Yeah.
think Blaine does either. Harley, like he drums in all that kinds of bands and stuff.
He's sick.
Well,
Very
in
good
most of
drummer.
the
Yeah,
year,
he's killer. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We like having him in the band. Our old drummer just didn't want to take this seriously. Like he didn't want to
Oh, yeah.
play for more than fun, and that's cool, you know.
Okay.
And he's the one who introduced us to Harley, and then we met Harley, and Harley's like, yeah, he wanted to do more than fun. Like that's kind of what some of the bands
Yeah.
he's playing in now is just for fun. But he wanted to
Yeah.
do more than that, so it was kind of cool that we met.
Well, I find things like this, like when you get to be our general age. I'm gonna say I'm 40, so I don't know where the fuck puts you guys. There you go.
I'm 32.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll put it in the ballpark, right?
Yeah,
But it
within
gets
a
to be where it's
decade,
like the things
yeah.
that you really do fucking love to do that you can't maybe make a career out of yet. It's like you can still do it for fun, but it has to be like a side hustle also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like I love
definitely.
snowboarding.
Yeah.
If I want to snowboard a lot for a season, I'm renewing my instructor's fucking membership and I'm getting a season pass somewhere doing some lessons,
Yeah.
right? Because that's how I'm gonna fucking do it lots. Because I can't afford to every weekend just go pay for a fucking pass, do the whole thing like a tourist. I can't fucking afford that. But if I want to go and put 80
Gotta be
days
all
on the
in,
fucking
really.
snow,
Yeah.
if I'm doing lessons, easy peasy to do that,
You want to
right?
make
Oh,
money
it
from
comes
that
with
these
the
days?
territory,
Literally,
Then you get
literally
paid.
just get a camera and film all of it. Put it on YouTube.
That's a
man.
good
You're-
idea
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
like I
Get a
literally started doing
GoPro or
this in
something?
2000, like snowboard lessons, and so it was like there was none of that, and like now it's just seeing like how many other people make careers out of their careers from
Big
that
money.
and
Big
instructional
money.
shit. Because I actually, when I'm really going to get a bit here, but when I'm actually actively getting into teaching lessons, I do go online and look for just different activities or methods or techniques or whatever the fuck everybody else is doing to just try and make it easier for me and better for the kids, right?
Yeah.
And I, in 20 fucking years of doing anything, you pick up some shit, right? Like it's funny.
yeah.
Like I feel like at this point, if someone was on the phone with me and they're like, I'm having trouble getting up, and I'm like, okay, what are you doing right now? How do you look? I'd be like, okay, just do this, put your hand there, and you do this, and they'd be up and gone. Like, because I remember one specific fucking instance. There was this group, and they were really struggling with them, some of the other instructors, and they think like, we just can't get these kids up, we can't. And I remember just walking through the group, and I'd push on one kid's head so they were kind of straight up, so their shoulders were back, and all of a sudden, just everything was in line. They were stacked, and it was just like, no, they're perfect, and they just cruised down the hill. And I grabbed this one kid, and I twisted his shoulders a bit, and he cruised straight down the hill. And they're like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, well, because I just watched you guys working with them, and I can see from here, this kid's just bent too fucking far forward. If he was standing up straight, the shit's all gonna work, you know. Like, and so I can just watch him just go toop, touch, and he zips down the hill. I'm like, well,
got the
fuck,
touch.
dude, you know, yeah, something like that. But like, yeah, I enjoy that. But that's a way to keep engaged for me because again, if I'm just gonna go when I feel like going. Well, every time I start, the math starts to go in my head. I'm like, well, fuel's gonna be this much, and I gotta buy fucking dinner, and holy fucking yeah. When I know I'm gonna get paid while I'm there, I'm like, oh fuck, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's what we all got to do. Turn our side hustles all into like at least moderately major
fuck.
main hustles.
So
I
so
ran
what?
many main like side hustles. Like,
Well,
going
this is
on
your
this year.
you're the proprietor of this establishment we're in right now, like the lord of the jam space.
Yeah.
Where it surfs.
Yeah.
Took that up earlier
Serfs and
this year,
vassals. Yeah. We're
That'd be a tight.
Some
That'd be a
upgrades.
tight like medieval punk band. Serfs and vassals. Say, ding, 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 ding.
like
Get that mandolin the
With
fuck
a
out
lute.
here. Yeah, slamming loot. Yeah.
have all the oddball fucking guitars in there.
we're actually gonna
If you can string it, we're gonna pluck it. Yeah.
we're actually gonna film the entire making of the album, and
That's
we're gonna,
awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna edit it as like a DVD, and we're gonna release it with
Oh, yeah.
the album.
Do it on
That'll be
DVD though.
sick.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah.
No,
Do it
I'm
on
just kidding because like everything's digital now. Hey, it's like, but no, we're not going to do it. We're going to do it on high 8. You know, we're going to antiquate with the technology. No, but I love it because I
Like a
fucking
link where
like
they
that
can
shit.
download it, and it's like
Yeah.
the whole video of it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
we're
that's a
really
genius idea because like
Yeah,
everybody
man,
wants fucking video. That we don't shoot video for this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we did with the previous one I was doing, and I felt like it was fine
you
or whatever.
perspective
But
of it.
eventually, like, if it was just me and Pat, it was just hours of you looking at two of us. You know what I mean? Like we're not that fucking interesting to look at, so it's like I don't know if we're missing that much.
And you
of
just
the
had one
video.
camera, or did you
I
have
had
some
two
switch?
and switch them back.
Oh,
But usually
okay.
it was only one because one would die and the other one would fuck up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
You know
got
how this
two.
sort of thing works.
Oh
Just
yeah,
a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got this camera right here.
yeah.
Yes,
Little security
exactly.
camera.
See,
Bust that
more
out.
security camera footage, all shot like found footage. That's a better idea. Every
Yeah.
podcast is shot like found. We're doing it out in front of
Somebody just
7-Eleven so we
spying
can,
on
we can get the security footage from the outside. Eh?
Slap a GoPro to Ernie here.
Yeah.
He's walking around.
I knew this guy in Vancouver.
It's just all dudes' butts though.
I knew this dude in Vancouver who was a graffiti artist, and he would like paint these really crazy spots, like super, like there's tons of people. People would be like, "How the fuck did he do that?" And he would leave memory sticks in certain places all over the city. And
Okay.
he'd be mask gloved up. There'd be a video of him doing it, showing how he did it. Right?
Oh, that's a
It
trip.
was really
That's like
cool.
That's some
geocaching.
real like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
guerrilla geocaching
Oh
art
man,
shit.
this guy
Oh,
was
man.
nuts.
Well, so
Just the-
did he have any technique for doing shit like that, like out in the open in public?
This
or?
guy used like rappelling gear.
Yeah.
Like this guy was like a fucking ninja, man. Yeah.
Well, that's what
That's
I'm
a lot of
wondering.
work just to
'Cause
draw a dick on the
I've
side of
seen
the
lots
wall.
of people like online, obviously,
Yeah.
never out in the real world,
Yeah.
like putting on service vests and shit like that,
Yeah,
and being
oh
like, "Oh,
yeah,
I work
yeah.
here," you know, and it's like to set up skate spots, for example.
Yeah.
Guys would be like, "Oh no, we're concreting this bump, and we're turning it into a sick little spot." I'm delighted in that. I'd like
Yeah.
to hear more about that. So
Yeah.
this guy was straight up like rappel down the sides of buildings and shit.
Yeah, man.
So like,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know what? Just the balls to do that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to. You
By
have to think
himself?
you're legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's repelling. Well, that somebody has to have signed off on this. There's no way somebody's just repelling a
Speak of
beating
the devil,
without that.
one of my best friends is actually a pretty notorious graffiti artist here in Saskatoon. He writes Angst. That's his graffiti name.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to
pretty cool.
Angst
I
if you're
dig that.
listening, you savage Irish fuck.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know my boy Seasick. I don't know if he's out there too.
Oh
What's
yeah,
up, Seasick?
yeah. I know him as
You know,
well.
that's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
homie, yeah. We're in a similar club.
I actually think my son and his son are in the same BMX club.
Weird.
Yeah,
BMX club, you say?
yeah.
This piques my interest actually because I got a nephew now that I'm looking after, and he loves fucking riding this bike.
Globe BMX.
Yeah.
Man. Shout
I
out
met
to
a
Globe.
50-year-old
Do they-
guy
do
that
they
actually
ride
rides a
that
BMX the other
course?
day.
Lakeview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bought an amp.
we went and scoped that out the one day because he was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "It's a fucking BMX track, dude." And he was like, "Oh man, can I ride here?" And I'm like, "Everybody else is. I don't know why you couldn't."
Actually,
You
I
know?
avoid
Resurrect
Morgan
your,
Walper
skate
nice
video
spot the other
company.
day.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Back to the
really.
days.
I'm gonna need bigger pants. Get them baggy, smaller wheels. Actually, I just started following a
Straight
Facebook
coffee.
page. Small wheels, baggy pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like '90s skate stuff, and I'm just loving it.
Yo, I used to skateboard like when I was like 15, 16, but not like to do tricks and shit, just like to get around, you know?
Yeah, they're
I
just fucking
longboard
fun.
for that.
I
Oh, I
remember
still do
I
it. I
remember
still-
once
Yeah.
being 16 years old at like 3 o'clock in the morning, pissed out of my fucking tree skateboarding down the Broadway fucking bridge and getting like the speed wobble.
Oh man, I did that. I did
Oh,
that fucking
fuck,
trip
I
on
was
6
fucked
hours
up,
of
man,
experience on the
Yeah, man, you
longboard.
get going down
Ravine
those
Drive.
fucking
I had a
hills.
similar experience
Oh,
coming down onto
God,
Spadina.
man.
Right in
Train of
traffic,
War,
just
Saskatchewan
pancaked.
Crescent is where I had to
Bad.
bail. I put
There's
my
like
fucking
when I
toe
was
through my shoe.
when I was 18.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah,
When I was
burning
18, I
rubber.
moved away
Oh,
from
yeah.
Saskatoon. I moved to Vancouver. And it was my first year. Like I lived in Surrey, right? Yes, I know. Sorry, but we went to White Rock.
We have no opinion. We're from Saskatoon.
Yeah. Well, hey, yeah, man. I was
From
actually,
Saskatoon,
I was
I'm not
actually
talking
born
much
in.
shit about
I was
everybody
actually
else.
born in
Of the
Meadow Lake, man.
prairies.
Yeah. Well, Carrot River actually in
Star City.
Star City.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You wanna get
I was
tiny
born
rinky
here in
dink.
St. Paul's downtown.
This room,
down
actually,
on
I assume.
20th, actually.
Burst.
He like spawned in like some corner. Just kind of appeared, you know?
Yeah, just popped up in buds during one of the open jam nights. Hey,
Yeah.
Actually, fuck
let me
my,
slap that bass for a second. Hey,
my old man took us out to the fucking cabin that he was born in, like fucking in the middle
Oh,
of the
shit.
woods. Like
That's
it's
just
just
dope.
push back there. It's still there too, like
Yeah.
solid. They
He's
can't
a-
push it in because it's like
he's a
old
wilderness
fucking
boy.
solid.
Isn't that
chunks of
weird?
wood.
How like when you drive like there's legit ghost towns in Saskatchewan.
fuck
Oh
yeah.
yeah, all over the
Oh,
place.
I've
all
been to a
Warren,
couple,
you
and
ever wanna-
that's-
you wanna-
it's
people
just
still live there.
awesome.
That shit's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, there's like one or
exhilarating,
two
though.
people,
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah,
Yep.
and like
You're truly living.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
near
if you're not living in a
PA,
ghost
there's
town, you're not
it's
truly
like a
living.
big abandoned nuclear
cool,
power
though.
plant. It's a big abandoned nuclear power plant near PA. It's like an old hydroelectric dam. It's called Lacole Falls, is what it's called.
Mhm.
You ever been there?
I've never been, but
No?
I've seen pictures from people I know that have gone in there doing like graffiti.
Sean-
and
Yeah,
shit.
I've heard
He's been
people
there.
from
Music video
all over the
location.
world
Yeah.
come
Really?
there to paint that place.
That's wild.
Angst
Oh,
was
fuck.
telling me about it. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
He was like, "We should go, man." I'm like, going with this guy anywhere is like a walking like world crisis waiting to happen. I love the
No,
guy.
wander into the wilderness
Oh,
with me. We're looking for.
fuck
Is it
the
an
whole
old
world.
You
nuclear
put
power
your
plant? I don't
life
know what
in
we're
your
doing.
hands when you go just simply for a fucking walk
get
with this
turned
guy.
away.
Like this guy
Skip
is a
away from
lunatic, man.
apocalypse
But
or
he's one of my best
something,
friends in the world. It's
basically.
almost like he's a part of me, right? And he just he's just the craziest fuck I know, and he just cannot say no to trouble, and he's incorrigible. Like there's no changing him. He's 41 as well, and like he's been painting graffiti since he was about 16.
And he loves to get the dangerous places to draw dicks.
Man, he's
Nope.
he's
Fucking rights, man.
he has no like a forethought for life or limb. Like if he wants that spot, he is willing to die to get it. Like
Well, if you have the
and-
right
It's-
equipment,
hey, man, you
It's
gotta
wild
give
to
her.
me.
He
Like
he doesn't go out with
Probably
any
good to
equipment.
go.
He goes out there with a fucking 2.6 of fucking Jameson sticking out of his pocket, climbing 10 stories above a river. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, man.
Any
I've been there
safety
with
gear
him.
at
Yeah,
all
I've been
or
there
what?
with him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts, man.
You guys just free climbing, or you actually?
Yeah,
have
well, no,
harnesses?
just free climbing. Yeah.
Jesus,
To
yeah.
him, he's like it's like a puzzle. You know, you got to figure out like this pipe, climb up there, and then that fire escape, then you get up that way, and then it's like a puzzle that he likes to figure out. I don't know how his
Shit.
mind works. It's like trying to reason with someone who's mentally ill because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he is, right? So,
Yeah.
Does he film these? Did you say?
he does, yeah.
Oh man, see that's
That's sick.
That would be
Yeah.
bombing. Oh man.
But in Saskatoon, actually, at the
That's
time,
parkour, almost.
in the early 2000s to the 2010, graffiti was a big deal here. Like, did you know that because of Saskatoon, they actually rewrote the law? There's only 3 crimes in Canada that don't have a statute of limitations. One of them is violent crime, murder. Another one is sexual crimes, and the other is graffiti. If you paint your name somewhere and 30 years later they can prove that you did it, they will arrest you and send you back to Saskatoon and bring you to court for it, man. Seriously.
For being too dope.
really.
Yeah.
Man, that guy was pretty cool 30 years ago.
They're also
now.
they'll also serve search warrants. Like if they
That's
think you're
wild.
out painting graffiti, they'll kick your door in with a SWAT team and take canvases off your walls. It happened to Angst. They took
Holy
him.
shit.
He went to court for 3 years for it. Yeah.
Jesus.
Holy
Hey,
fuck.
for art.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
wait, putting art in the wrong spot.
I heard.
Oh,
they-
sorry, was that plain
Somebody's
brick wall
wall.
really captivating the attention there?
Yeah, I heard.
I
I
gotta
heard they
spend
kicked in his
$1,000
door,
to paint.
and like they pulled guns on him, and actually his girlfriend and his daughter was there at the time, pulled guns on them too.
Real good job, cops.
Yeah, real good job, pigs.
Managed to shoot a dog while you're at it too?
They did
or-
not. Yeah, I don't believe he had a dog, but he puts his hands up and he's telling them, he's like, "There's no fucking dope here. Like, there's no guns here. What the fuck do you want?" And then they started taking canvases off his walls. He's like, "You're fucking here for that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they seized
Kick
his
doors
cell
open
phone.
for the,
Yeah,
for the
Evidence.
yeah,
Yeah.
evidence.
Very dangerous.
Well, and I understand the angle of like, well, no, that's how gangs communicate, but that's not what you're fucking here for. You
This
know
is
what I mean?
obviously not
these,
gang
these
graffiti.
motherfuckers are artists.
Artists,
This is some,
yeah,
This
yeah.
is some art. This is shit that people are gonna be talking about 50 years from now, and you're like, they were dope. Those guys were ahead of their time. And in the meantime, you're in there fucking kicking their door in.
And angst was like literally the way someone is a victim of graffiti is when rich people don't like looking at it. That's literally
The
what
end.
it is. Because
The end.
bridges don't have feelings. You know,
some
like they
middle
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
class, too, but
No, that's it.
trades
Wrong
are
neighborhood, right? Wrong
Yeah.
neighborhood for that.
Yeah.
Well, that is great that there is that wall along Warman Road here in the city that is
That one's owned-
privately owned. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's only painted once a year by the
Yeah.
same set of guys. If you want to
Yeah.
paint legally, you got to go to White Buffalo, which is on Avenue
sure.
F. Yeah, at the
Sure.
very back wall there. They have like a graffiti jam every year called Summer Fling.
Well, I just think it's dope that there's a wall like that that's just so highly visible.
Yes.
And that it's something that's not going to go anywhere, and it almost continues to. It's like, look, if you don't think this is art, then
Just
I
sucks
don't,
that
I
there's
don't know what
only
to
one.
fucking tell you. Maybe not all aspects of graffiti are on the same level, but
No,
like
yeah.
what. If you can't say that's art, then I don't know how. And again, White Buffalo is fantastic. That's a great example.
And you'll
of that.
notice on
Huge
that
wall.
Warman Raw that no little kids, like little gangsters, like
Yeah.
tag it up, like it gets
Yep.
left pristine all
Yep.
year.
Yep.
And that's and these guys who paint that, they aren't like violent gangsters. They're just that respected for their art because they've been doing it for so long that they know not to touch it. Right? That's respect, man.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. And I think it just breeds more of that. You know, when you get to see that, when it's like, no,
Graffiti
it
is the
always looked like this,
most
and it doesn't.
marketable art form on earth. Easy, like it looks so good on anything, clothes, tattoos. It just looks great. Like our logo for our band is graffiti.
Well, and what's interesting is like if you again, I don't gravitate towards graffiti art a lot of times, but I've seen some shit that I'm like, oh fuck, that's dope. Like there's something for my mom.
There's so many kinds.
I actually thought about her twice now during this conversation because she was up here last week and I haven't seen her in about a year, and she is a dean at a school in Salt Lake City of their. What is it, like the criminal justice department? She's been a prison guard for just about 20 fucking years.
No shit.
Yeah, man. But she was really into graffiti. She would every time she would go someplace, she has whole albums full of train graffiti that she would just take while she's out. 'Cause she's like, I just think it's sick. She's like, and we didn't get she. I don't even think it had really anything to do with their prison experience. It was just something independently that she thought was cool and got into.
Yeah, the trains are awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but she's one that like she was working for corrections in North Dakota, and they had worked with Norwegian corrections to start to facilitate some programs to cut down on the recidivism. And like what you said about the fentanyl and like how everybody you know was fucking addicted. She said like, yeah, half of the people in here should be in hospitals. Like they're addicted or they're mentally ill. And so that's the way she's been going with her shit. So she actually works with this group that like tries to teach prison guards that and go, hey, you know, when you're dealing with these people, you're dealing with a sick person who should be in a hospital bed, not a fucking animal, right? Yeah. And so that's a big shout out to fucking Desert Waters Corrections, trying to do good things with corrections officers and get them doing the right fucking thing. So yeah. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting, a little tie into that. I'm like,
I did some prison time. I went to Saskatoon here. I was actually, like I said, 2015, 2018. In 2016, I was in that riot in PA Pen in December where Jason Bird got killed. I was on the floor, under where the riot started, but the whole jail went off.
God damn.
It was the scariest fucking thing I've ever been through in my life, and I think I got PTSD from it. It fucked me up for a long time, man.
hey,
Shit.
hey, and that's everybody in that building.
Yeah, almost.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, would be affected by that? Because that's it's a big detachment in corrections. I think where
Yeah.
it's like, well, they're not really people. And it's like, well, none of you fucking want to be here. Guards don't want to be here.
No,
Prisoners don't want to be. You're both fucking locked in.
Yeah.
Neither of you have the freedoms and what you want to do. Because even and again, they only worked in the
difference is
American
one is being paid to be there.
The American
system.
joints are way different than here, man.
And it was
Way
intense because she
different.
worked youth corrections, she worked adult corrections, she worked in female and male facilities, she worked in fucking private and government run corrections over the last 20 years. So she kind of got to fucking see all of it and how fucked a lot of it was. But like never got down. But she was explaining to me because I said, "Fuck, your hair looks really good, Mom." She's got this like gray streak right up in the front that I'd never noticed, and I'm like, I thought maybe she'd been dying or whatever. She's like, you know how I got that fucking gray streak? She said a kid when she was still working in youth corrections headbutted her. It, like got pissed off and got into a fight with her and headbutted her, and when he did, it took all the color out of her hair right there. Because that'll happen sometimes to people when they get traumatized in the head. You lose the color from that. Hey? And I'm like, Jesus, fuck, Mom. I wish you kind of hadn't told me that. I wish you just said it went gray or whatever, you know? And she's like, well, no, it's just fucking part of the job, you know, but it really did change my perspective on some things, you know, like having to fight this kid. I'm like, I don't really think I want to be doing this part of this facility anymore. You know, like they keep making me deal with this. And then she just, when you said the riot thing, she's like, I ever show you the riot footage? And she's been to lots of mock riots where they practice doing riots, but she's never really talked about being in any. Because I never fucking asked. I don't want to know about my mom being in a fucking riot, you know? And exactly. Well, and then she doesn't sugarcoat shit when she's talking either. She's like, you want to be the guy they try to stick a broom handle up their ass next time the shit goes down, you guys? Treat them like people, you know? I'm like, fuck, Mom. But anyways, like she was like, no, I wanted to find you the footage of it. She says, I don't know if you'd want to see it, but like, she said she'd gone in and had tackled somebody or whatever and was helping, and this inmate had come in to kick one of the other inmates in the head and kicked her like right fucking solid in the ribs and was coming in again to get her, and one of the other guys dove in and he took it in the fucking head, and he ended up like months of recuperating and everything, like basically taking a beating for her, you know, and it was all on video, you know.
Shit.
And she'd already, and I'm just like, holy fuck, because me I'm like, well, I can get across the border tonight probably, and where are these guys gonna be exactly? You know, I'm like, it's my mommy, motherfucker. But like, yeah, it's a trip because it's like everybody involved. That's what I'm saying, like, right, everybody in that building is fucked from a day like that. You know, even if you weren't personally getting kicked, you were still involved in some way, and you carry it around, and like, man, it's not a good. So let's see some prison reform. You know what I mean? But you know what? Canada is on the forefront of a lot of it, still behind many Scandinavian countries and places that are a little more forward thinking, especially with reform. But they are.
I think in prison in Scandinavia. They took away the crime of like for drug.
Well, see, that's exactly it. A lot of the things that caused the recidivism, they made them crimes no longer because there were societal issues. They were. You're robbing somebody, but that's it's the core of this is something that we fix with a treatment program and someone keeping a fucking eye on you.
They just give you your drugs. You don't have to struggle or fight or steal for them.
Well,
right?
and again, if you're functioning, because I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say much about the Scandinavian system for the drug management, anyways.
Like
but I
Denmark
know with
and
Portugal, which is not Scandinavian, obviously, but they did that. They decriminalized a bunch of shit, and
Lisbon,
they started moving these programs where it was like you'd get picked up for something, and if you weren't pushing weight, you were treated like a sick person. Yeah.
Well,
if you're pushing weight, different story. You're a guy who's, you know, you're a fucking, you're part of the problem. You know what I mean? But like the fucking, the rest of these people, they put them on board. They say, well, how did you get here? What caused these issues? And they go, well, you know, I was, whatever. However people get to where they are as adults and they're fucked, right? Pick every scenario. And then they go, okay, cool. Well, this is how we address that then. And then they would work on that core issue and put them into programs that did that.
Not involved in the courts at all.
And I'm not to say there still wasn't motherfuckers that were like, no, fuck you. I do what I want. This is me, blah, blah, blah. There's still people that are bound for jail, I'm sure. But like, that's most people aren't like that. Most people hate the situation, don't want to be there, would do anything to fucking change it, you know?
Yeah.
So when are we doing our Johnny Cash jail show?
Let's do it right from the outside.
Now that I've been out for over 5 years, I bet you I could pass clearance to like go play a show in the correctional. I wouldn't fuck around. Like I have no involvement with the justice system whatsoever. Not even a ticket. No nothing.
Play
Oh, nice.
prison show.
Good job, buddy.
My band saved my life, man.
Yeah.
See, I'm always slightly
And my
concerned
wife,
with
too.
scenarios
My
like
wife,
that. Like even
Dion.
a prison
Shout out to
tour,
Dion.
I don't want to go on because like, what if they just keep me? What if I'm
love
just
that.
in there and I fuck up and then they're just like, you know what, this guy's staying here. I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. Mix him in with the wrong one.
So you're gonna close these doors behind me? Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'll just stay. I'll stay on the outside.
The
looking in.
feeling of like helplessness when you're in prison, like where you're like, okay, I'm here and there's nothing I can do about it. So sitting there and crying about it is just going to get you punched out. Like just act accordingly. You're in a den of wolves. Be a wolf. You know, you don't have to look for trouble, but it's going to come find you. All you got to do is stand up. No, all you got to do is stand up for yourself once or twice. People know you're not an easy pick, and they'll leave you alone, man. You just act accordingly. That's all.
Yeah.
And avoid that scenario. That's another good.
Yeah, try and avoid that.
Do like
scenario,
you've been doing
Whole
since, and avoid the
sociological
scenario.
aspect.
But I do know some people that like in a flash of an instant, you know, they just find themselves in cuffs, man. You get in a stupid argument with your girlfriend, she calls the police, says you hit her, whether you did or didn't, doesn't matter, man. You're going to jail. That's all there is to it. Like, or if you're, let's say you're pissed drunk and you're just walking down the street to get to your apartment and a cop taps you on the shoulder, hey, you're going to the drunk tank, drunk in public, man. It can happen to anyone, man. You can go to jail for anything at any time, man. And people say, oh, well, the police can't do that. They can't do that. Well, they can and they do.
Yep. Well, fuck, pick you up for anything.
Yeah.
And keep you overnight for anything. You know what I mean? Like, and then while you're there, who knows what happens? Maybe you do fuck up, and then See, this is my concern. Once again, even on a visit, maybe I call someone a cocksucker, and then all of a sudden, here I am. You know, it's like
jail for
I'll
dust.
show you who the cocksucker is.
I always told
Be
jail
one or
guards
two
like
white guys
if an inmate
50
tells you to
of them in
fuck
the room.
yourself and it like makes you angry, then you're in the wrong profession. You know what I mean? Like it just you take it in stride, man. Like I did 3 years in prison. I was probably maybe 7 fights. and 4 of them were me and my big mouth, and 3 of them were justified. But other than that, I had no trouble whatsoever. No.
That's good, man.
Yeah, didn't get bothered. I was allowed to have a guitar in there, so I just played guitar
that's sick.
13, 14 hours a day. Yeah, acoustic. And on my range,
That's
the
what
guy,
I keep
I
saying.
had to play for a
Yeah.
couple of the old guys on my
Yeah.
range first before I was allowed to play on my range. Because if I wasn't good enough, I had to go play whatever
Oh, I
yard
get
was in
you,
like
yeah.
in like the chapel or wherever. So I played for the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, boy, you can play on the range." So I played on the range, and it was cool. Yeah,
Cool.
no trouble.
That's sweet.
After the
Fucking,
riot,
you've written a story or a song about that since.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, fucking beautiful. Yeah.
after the riot, they sent me to know because my range was destroyed. All the cells were destroyed. You could walk in the first cell and walk through a hole all 30, all the way to the end. They ripped all the toilets out. Like it was, they destroyed it. They
shit.
burned the whole range. And so they sent me to Nova Scotia. And in Nova Scotia, they don't have gangs. Not like that. They're all kind of like family crews, like drug dealing crews or whatever. But I wasn't from there, so I wasn't involved in any of their beef, man. All they cared about was that I played guitar. So I started playing Celtic music and shit with these guys. It was cool, man. It was really cool.
No, of all things.
And that's
all those
the other
goofies.
side of the album, right? And you go, and these are all my Celtic hits. I remember when I was on the coast.
Yeah, we'll start playing. We'll start writing some of them.
That's dope.
We want to do an unplugged album too, right? Like we'd like to this coming year. We'd like to play a live show in like an auditorium and then live record it, mix it, master it,
Oh,
then
man.
release it as like a live album. We'd like to do that, like and have like a cello and like some violins.
I'm
and stuff.
encouraging
Yeah.
that.
Pretty cool.
I encourage
Piano,
that
yeah,
kind of behavior.
yeah. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, the ambience in that room though would be amazing.
Oh yeah, you know, like Coors Event Center or Centennial Auditorium or somewhere like that. That'd just be amazing, man.
How many acoustic instruments you got now, Ernie? Bring them all. Got some
Yeah.
banjos, mandolins,
Ernie's making 2 fingers up.
No, he's got 3.
a hurdy-gurdy.
3 fingers up.
4.
Bring
Oh,
on
no,
the
there's
other.
4. It's growing slowly. He doesn't have a
Oh,
mic,
you got
so
an
I'm
auto
explaining what he's doing.
harp, yeah.
I've just got 2 6.
Part of it's like charades.
Bring my spoons and a washboard. I play a mean washboard.
Okay. Well, what else we got going on the fucking docket here for today? The Queen's
we got
dead.
some jamming to do.
We
Yeah,
got
you
a
boys got
jam.
some jamming.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
some jamming.
Not just fingers up our ass for once.
Well, they'll
Okay.
be there, but
Well, I mean, this was a short and sweet one. We did start a little later than we anticipated.
Yeah,
and,
which was-
Yeah.
no pointing any fingers, no blaming any blames. We'll just have to do this again.
yeah.
And since we already got this
When-
kinked
So
out, let's
maybe
get
do
the
a
rest of
shout out
that
for
here.
your shows coming up if you got something. on the go.
Yeah, we're just about to book a show at the Pit Stop Lounge.
Dates TBD.
Yeah, dates to be determined, but
Yeah.
we'll have it. We should have a date in the next week here.
Right. on.
What are you guys' socials and whatnot? If anybody wants to follow you,
Yeah, our social media. You can follow us.
TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah, TikTok,
Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook,
and Agony.
YouTube. Yeah, at
yeah,
Truth
YouTube.
at Truth and Agony or at Truth_and_Agony.
Yeah. Most of our anything upcoming is usually posted on like Instagram and Facebook for the most part. But we do trickle it out into everything else like TikTok and the hell was the other one?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, and we're also on Spotify, like Apple Music, iTunes, all that stuff. The
Right
EP and the single, and soon to be the as and yet unnamed album.
Right on.
So
what do you-
anyway, thanks, Old Tolerated, for having us, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it has nothing to do with them. Fuck Ernie, fuck Chris, fuck Rawls, fuck Russ, fuck myself.
Love you guys.
No,
Fuck
yeah,
this,
yeah.
fuck
No,
that,
this
fuck
has
you.
been another one from Tales from the Funbox podcast. Again, not from the Funbox. Greatly enjoyed having you guys. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And if you guys got to the end of this, like, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you're supposed to do so we can keep doing it.
So where do we find this?
Like, subscribe,
Oh,
share.
fuck. Good question you asked right
Yeah,
at the
where
end.
do we find this?
And
release?
this is when you want to listen. Is very at the end of a podcast is when you tell people when to find it. We're going to be iTunes, Spotify, fucking YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
And
Cool.
So the 3.
Holy
got
fuck, doing it
The
big, boys.
regular ones.
Nice.
Yeah. That's easy peasy. Anybody can do it. It turns out. Turns out, after you pay the fees, anybody can put anything on Spotify.
As long as
that
it's
was what made me very happy.
non-refundable fees,
Which
of
is
course.
stupid. Actually, now that I think about it, that we've never put any sneer stuff on Spotify because we could do it today.
Really? Oh shit.
Maybe you should do it today because I still like frequently get people like, "Where the fuck can I find a CD?" And I'm like, "Because we only made 20."
So you
Fuck
got to pay the
off."
fee once, and then
Sneers
you
are
can
dope.
We can
yeah,
put it
you
out-
definitely
so
put them
much
on.
to
We can put it
upload.
out through the thing.
He's
Two
got
of the
CDs.
20.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, rip one and put it on there. Put it on Spotify.
There you go.
then it'll
Because
be
like
there.
those CDs are getting
And
old.
a super freak,
and we
too,
don't
right?
have the raw copy anymore, do we?
I might have
Or the master files.
master, but it was written on in marker.
Probably a good idea. To get
So
that
there's a
out on
good
the
chance that it fucked the top of it like every other old rip CD I've ever had that had marker written all over it. What are we doing at this point right now? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Holy
Where do we
fuck.
find
Okay,
this,
anyways,
really?
you know what? Like we said, yeah, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all the places where you find it. Truth and Agony, check them out. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks,
Yeah.
boys.
Thanks for having us.
Catch you later.